Hey guys, it's day 87 of being a boy, and I've come to the Edinburgh Festival! It's great to see so much trans representation at this year's Edinburgh Fringe, because here on Turf Island there had never been any until last year when Gen I was bravely and stunningly put on a show. But now there's plenty, so they owe it all to her. Yeah, Gen Ives was really great that year, even if the audience didn't appreciate it, because they were clearly full of turfs and trans phobes, because nobody at the Edinburgh Fringe ever wants to go and see trans entertainment. But I think they just didn't get performance. They were saying, oh, it's not funny, but people don't realise that, like, Judith Butler says, if you've ever actually read any Judith Butler, but if you've managed to pass the first few chapters, then well done. But Judith Butler says that gender is a performance, and it's rooted in all the different cultural norms and stereotypes and information that we grow up with and learn, and that's what we try to portray. That is our performance. And, you know, you owe me money for it, so yeah, you know, link in the description. But Gen Ives was performing gender. And one of the most enduring cultural norms is that women aren't funny. And we can be really proud that Gen Ives has changed attitudes so quickly. Look! It's proof that here's some bitches who finally know their fucking place. We've also got lots of really nice progressive shows this year, like Drag Queen Story Hour. Now, conservatives and Nazis and white supremacists have been saying some really mean things about Drag Queen Story Hour. They've been saying that it's a bit near the knuckle and a bit edgy and inappropriate for small children. But ADHD was really great. She actually had a fundraiser to celebrate the death of a paedophile. Based! What? Oh, funeral expenses for her friend. Okay, we'll just cut this bit. Now, although the Fringe is improving, it still isn't perfect. There's still a lot of discussions about rampant landlordism, tenants getting kicked out of their rented properties so that the landlords can host tourists. There's abuse of workers' rights, exploitation, wage theft, breaking fire regulations, keeping unsanitary conditions, allegations of pimping and human trafficking, which is kind of problematic in itself. But all of that pales in comparison to some of the horrible problems that have been happening this year. Like, at the Stand Comedy Club, they allowed Joanna Cherry to speak! That fucking rug-munching turf. And I sent her like 5 death threats on Twitter as well, so I don't know why she wouldn't just pull out. Well, I try, I really do. They did do some good though, they let Vari Black speak. And she was talking about how all the turfs are just white supremacists. So yeah, you make sure that you get that through your fucking head, Vaishnavi Sundar and Age of the Empress. Fucking ingrates. I try and do everything for you lot with this fucking diversity and inclusion agenda, and you don't fucking respect me. Honestly. Fucking lesbians. But no, not all lesbians are horrible turfs like Vari Black. She might be open to going on a date with Big Dave. He identifies as lesbian on Wednesday, so yeah, give us a call. Fucking look at all these people. Don't they know that J.K. Rowling's cancelled? At the Edinburgh International Festival, oh, that's the 1 o'clock gun. At the Edinburgh Festival, there's all sorts of shows from all around the world. And speaking as a white Western liberal who is in favour of diversity, equity and inclusion, I think I speak for all of us when I say fuck the chinks. That's the title of my new op-ed in The Guardian actually this week. Yeah, I don't like the Chinese because their third-person pronoun is ha, for he, she, it, whatever. So I don't know if they're misgendering me. Apparently it's written different ways, but I can't read Chinese, so they might be misgendering me in their heads. I can read a bit more than Adrian Zen's cat knows, so I'm qualified to comment on China. China is the worst country in the world because their citizens are always under surveillance and their state broadcaster colludes with the government to misinform the citizens. And also you can get arrested for things you post on social media. I wish they'd arrest Chen Weihua though, because some of his DMs he left me on red. Prick. He's probably just a big old racist. That's what it is. It's because I've never heard of Asian state and white people. Not my friends group anyway. Yeah, they don't know fucking nothing about communism either. Communism is when you put a hammer and sickle next to your pronouns in your bio, and none of them fucking do that. And they're not allowed to criticise the government either. They don't even have panel shows. Hey! Oh sure, this lot look friendly, but none of them would give me their phone numbers after. But yeah, I don't understand why there's so many Chinese shows this year. Like, what culture has China ever had? And more to the point, how do I stop this from posted from my Huawei? It ain't all bad though. I might see if I can go and see the Shenyun lads show. This year's theme is China before communism. And back in the Qing dynasty, they were doing affirming care for transabled folks by doing surgeries on their feet. And also, they were in favour of castrating teenagers even before the WPATH guidelines were released. Now that's progressive. At least. I think they had some good cultural output then, but I can't read Chinese. But then, it's not a problem because neither could most of the population in those days. Anyway, that's my review of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this year. Remember to support your local performers and venues. Now I'm going home to get a sandwich because everything's like 3 times as fucking expensive this month. Love ya!